Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do when we're working on this um, resume project is first we've got to set up. And so I'm going to go to Documents on my desktop, which is where on the Mac, Documents, where GitHub set up my project. And so if you're on a PC, clearly you'd want to set it up elsewhere. But on the Mac, I've got my project. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the top level and I'm going to go to File, New Folder, and I'm going to call it Resume. Okay. And next, if we go to Project 2, if you remember, we have a CSS folder with CSS Normalize. That shouldn't be in there. So let's do it that way. Okay, so CSS Normalize. I'm going to take and copy that whole CSS folder into the resume folder. And so resume has CSS with normalize.css in it, and we're going to add some other things to that later. Okay. Next, I'm going to go to Dreamweaver, and I'm going to open up Gropius 8 as my latest file. And I'm going to take the entire top of this document here and copy it. Everything all the way through box sizing. So it includes the link to CSS Normalize. I'm going to need to make some changes up here because clearly we don't want to do resume for Walter Gropius, though of course we could. So I'm going to copy that. And now I'm going to go to Site, Manage Sites. I'm going to create a new site, and it's going to call it Resume. And I'm going to click here and go to GitHub, click on Resume, click Choose. And I'm going to click Save. And I'm going to click Done. And notice that resume is selected. Click Done. You'll see over in your Files section that all you have is the CSS folder and Normalize. And I'm going to close Gropius 8, so I don't need that. And I'm going to go File, New, HTML. Title is going to be, in my case, 2024. And I'm going to, actually, it gives me an option here to attach the style sheet. I don't need to do that. I'm going to click Create. And I'm going to select everything through title. And I'm going to paste this information in here. And I'm going to hit refresh, or I'm going to hit return. And then I'm going to close style. Okay. And go up here. graphic design resume 2024. Description. This would be your elevator speech if you were when you're looking for a job, you'd want to have this description be your elevator speech. And so this, I haven't thought this through, so mine's not going to be super great. Actually, hang on a second. Here, this is better. Okay. So got everything, including this. Now, what we want to do is we want to create the structure for this resume. And so I'm going to go now down to, and let's see, we can do split. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add at the very top of this. So we've talked about this a little before. If I have star, so star applies to everything on the page. It's a very slow way of working. It's not something you want to do most of the time. Generally, it's something you'd want to delete from your file at the very end. But right now, I've set everything in this document to have an outline of 1 pixel solid red so that I can see it. And I'm going to create a structure. So I'm going to go down to body. And let's see if I can give myself a little bit more room. Body. So first I'm going to give it a wrap. So I'm going to create a div and ID equals wrap. So there's only going to be 1 wrap item in my document. It's not showing up yet, but we will show up soon. Next, I'm going to create a header. Let's see, view. And I'm going to add a little bit of view, refresh, design view. Okay, there we go. Now it's starting to show up. So that's our header. Inside the header, I might as well start off H1, Dean Nettles. And then H2, our director. Okay. Refresh design view. So that's a start. Next, I'm going to create structure. So I'm going to go section, class. Well, actually, I can do these as IDs equal summary. And then H2 summary. So there's a bunch of, there are several couple of thoughts about how one should set up a document. One way is that each of these sections should have an H1. My way of thinking that really the H1 should be the title of the whole site, or the main title for the page, and that everything else should be in, an H2, an H3, an H4, or something like that. So that's how I'm going to do it. My name would be the H1 for this page, and then we'll have H2s for each section. And let me make that lowercase just to make it simpler. Section. And I'm going to call this ID equals software. H2 section ID equals experience. And my resume will probably be much longer than yours and contain some more things, but you might as well get an idea, and you can use what you need to. Okay. Section ID equals education. You refresh. Oh, and I'm in design view, not live view. So let's go to live view. Education and we'll finish it with affiliations. Section ID equals oh, what the heck? Let's add one more. Section ID equals hobbies. Okay, so there's our basic structure for the resume. And we have IDs attached to each of these in case we want to change the coding for a given section. All right. Next. Next, I'm going to put in let's put in a summary. Header. Well, let's see. And actually what I'm going to do up in my header is I'm going to create another section. I'm not using these all that much different from divs. Let's just call this a div. And that one a div. And we'll call this div ID equals name. I almost want to call it an ID equals ID, but that would not be a good use of naming. And then div ID equals contact. And we're going to add some information, a list of U information. So it's going to be in a UL. That's not right. Should be. So that's supposed to be an LI. And that LI. I'm a mess, but I'll clean it up. Don't know why it's not cooperating. It's just not cooperating right now. Okay, however it's doing it. Can't argue with it. Uh, okay. So that's that information. This is a link. I want to make it live. A href equals email. And that's mail to. Okay. Phone. So on. Okay. So got that. And then summary. There's also going to be UL. It's going to be a list of things that I want to summarize. In other words, these are be your overall skills that you want to show off. And they should be able to look at your career experience and see where these fit in with your career experience. And you might actually want to refer to these again in your career experience. Software. So I'm going to go. In this case, I'm going to do something very similar to what we did before. So I'm actually going to create a div. I'm just going to create a div. I think I might be able to hit it from here. And I'm going to again create a list. UL. Come on. LI. I might actually be able to get rid of this div. I think I can get rid of this div. If I can get rid of things, I try to get rid of things. So InDesign. Photoshop. Illustrator. Premiere. Okay. LI. Okay, and then LI MS Office. At this point, not my full list of things that I've done, but then we'll go here. Career experience. Oh, come on. Text only. So that's H2X. Don't know quite why. Tab. H3. And X and B. H4. Uh, Date. Sorry, it's not date, it's date, it's time. And then date time. 2006. It's always useful to go back to your previous work when you don't remember something. I've got some bullet points here. So again, UL LI UL E. You can fast forward through this. What have I just done? LI, LI, LI. Apparently I'm forgetful today. And UL. Delete. Okay. And I'm going to go and clean up this indenting. It's indented to there. Indented to there. Indented to there. And then that gets back dented. Okay. And this would be much easier on a bigger monitor, but don't have that. And then we'd want to copy this same organization. And I might even want to just add a line space in here just to help me understand it when I'm looking at it. So this is now X, Command V, H3. And again, you want to speed through this. H4. And X, and V, P, is P, and then UL, and X, E, and then LI. And I'm going to do this the faster way. Copy, paste, paste. Notice how I'm getting rid of the bullets because those are already present when you have a UL and an LI, and ampersand, semicolon, and now Command X, B, 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 and then I'm going to indent all of this. Okay. So all goes indent, UL, LI, indents, and then this goes back. Okay, so let's see, now I have some experience and it's all edited in a similar manner. Go to education. Okay. H3. Right, go back up here, time. Date time. And Z. I'll end up needing that again. H4. Really? Um, okay. B, H3. Okay. It's not right. See, everybody makes mistakes. Just need to remember when they made them. Okay. Again, I'd want to go and clean this up. This one won't be so hard. Affiliations. It's always useful to go to meetings, conventions, join organizations so that you can network with people and actually meet people who do what it is that you do. This is actually going to be UL. LI, AIGA, Baltimore. Okay. And I'll make that one bold. And I'll make that bold. And then hobbies, again, it would be a list. UL. LI. Oh, oh, what the heck? Painting. Okay, so we have information. Looks about like that. Okay, so basic outline of a resume. And and then it would be a good idea to save this as index.html. Oh, docs index.html. And I'll save it. It would have been a smart idea to have saved it a lot before that, because it's always dangerous. And I still have another date that needs to be, or another time. Date, time. So get a range. Okay. All right. And if I share, Google share, then it looks kind of like this. And clearly this is a little bit ugly. So we're not going to keep it looking like this. First thing we need to do is add some space around the sides. We don't want this text to be butting up. So I'm going to attempt to add some. So most of these are sections. We've got a header and then a bunch of sections. So I'm going to go up here under style and go header. comma, section, padding, and I'm going to tell it not to add any padding on the top, but I'm going to have it add padding on the sides. And if you look, it seems to have done that throughout. Secondly, we want a maximum page width. So I'm going to go, in fact, okay, and so this is structure. So I'm going to go to wrap, which is wrap max width is 800 pixels. And in fact, I'll make it width 100%, max width 800 pixels. Command save. And now if I go, and then I'm also going to add our little centering device, margin 0 auto. And save. And I'm going to go back to Google. And you see that it looks like this. And when it gets smaller, it gets narrower. But it never gets bigger than that width, which is probably a pretty good width to look at a resume at. So what you want to avoid is having, the text running so long that you're having to read halfway across the page. Wikipedia is kind of the worst case when it comes to that. Wikipedia doesn't have a max width, so you basically can stretch it as far as you want, and the text lines get really long, and I find it kind of hard to read, but that's not what's happening here. Okay. Next, I'm going to go back to Dreamweaver. Okay, so I'm going to stop this video right here, but I will start up when we get into a little bit more detail.